Hello and welcome to the Park-In yoga session sponsored by Spinal-Cord-Injury BC. Today we have a longer session. It's 3.5 hours, which will give us an opportunity to first of all look at some basics and do some chair yoga, and then take ourselves onto the floor and do a real seated practice without our wheelchairs. So first of all, I'm going to talk about basic anatomy and not make it too complicated. But we're going to address the hamstrings, as most of us are sitting individuals a lot of the time in North America. Whether I see people in wheelchairs or walking around, most of them will have the same issues around the hamstrings. First of all, overly tight hamstrings and therefore a strained lower back. Most lower back pain actually comes from overly tight hamstrings. Secondly, a non-active or not engaged core, and therefore a strained lower back. And then thirdly, sitting improperly. For instance, leaning back on the sacrum like most of us do in a wheelchair and not sitting upright on your spine is really, really hard on the lower back, and also overstretches the back muscles and tightens the hamstrings. So therefore, a strained lower back and limited mobility in the lower body. So these are the things that will cause problems in the body in the long term, whether you're sitting in a wheelchair or not. And those are the things that we can address really, really well through yoga. With the proper engagement and proper alignment, you can stretch these hamstrings out. However, proper engagement and proper alignment are kind of misunderstood, not just in our community, but in the broader world of hamstring and yoga. So first of all, we can't stretch a muscle unless we have the muscle that's the antagonist of that muscle actively engaged in its position of alignment. So often I will see a lot of people saying that they can stretch out their hamstrings by putting their feet up on their bed, and I ask them how, and I get them to show me, and when I see their legs and I see that they're flopping out to the side and that there's no dorsiflexion in the ankle, I know that they are meaning well, but actually the effort is kind of in vain because they're not really getting at the hamstrings from this perspective. So I'll be showing you the right way to stretch your hamstrings a little bit later, and we will be addressing that first of all in the wheelchair just by getting you to sit in a proper position. So first of all, come up, sit upright on your spine by either doing a seat lift and pushing up off your buttocks so that you can get your sitting bones underneath you. And those of you that are able, you could take your hands back and roll the flesh of your buttocks out away from your sitting bones so that you're right on your sitting bones. Good. Then we're going to do some shoulder rolls, and we're going to roll the shoulders up and down the spine and bring the shoulders up towards your ears and then all the way back and then down. And you can overemphasize this, it's okay. And then we would do the other side. So we'd roll the opposite shoulder up and make a big, big circle, relax it back and then down, and then dangle the arm. Good. You want to consider that all the movements of the arms, especially in parts that aren't moving, start off at the core. The core will give the information to the system that the body needs, that knows what the full movement eventually could become. So in other words, a huge movement is just as much information, and perhaps not even as much, as a small micro movement. The small micro movement gives a little bit more information to your nervous system. So don't be worried if you can't get your whole arm moving. Start with the very, very basics right next to your core. This will challenge your intrinsic system more than the big, huge muscle movements. So you can actually kind of imagine or think of less is more as a good phrase to carry along with you when you're practicing yoga. So we're going to do next the movements of the spine. So we do forward, and we're going to roll forward over a bolster on your lap. All of you have a little block on your lap at this point. And we're going to just roll the chin down and tuck it into the chest And then we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to extend upward, lifting your heart and opening the collarbones. And that's into extension. And then we're going to go into twisting, which would be twisting toward the right, and then twisting toward the left. Good. The last movement of the spine is lateral flexion. So we've covered 4 basic movements: forward and backward flexion and extension, and then twisting. And now we're going to get lateral bending. So you could get a chair beside you, take your right hand and bring it across the left knee, and then turn the palm up towards the ceiling. Feel what this does as it opens up your shoulder. Good. And then lean into your arm a little bit, like this, and twist now toward your left shoulder. And feel the brr breath in the back of your rib cage, like this. You're sort of pursing your lips and making an O sound with the lips slightly shut. Blow the breath into the back ribs and into the tight intercostal muscles. Good. Inhale and exhale. Excellent. Bring your hands back onto your knees and around to the front, and bring your awareness and your connection back there as well. And then we're going to inhale to bring your left palm to the outside of your right knee, and then taking your other hand back behind you, twisting toward your left side. You'll really begin to feel the twist into your spine, but you want to start with the spine, not your neck and shoulders. You want to think about that. First of all, the twist starts from the waist, and then into the ribs, and then into the chest, and then the shoulders, and lastly the head, the neck, and the jaw. Inhale big, and exhale. Again, inhale big. Excellent. And then inhale, come back around to center. Great. Now we're going to inhale and raise the arms up and make them at a level with the shoulders. Bring the elbows and hands up towards the hands up toward the ceiling and make cactus arms. And then move your hands back and forth to wave your palms, using the Queen's wave to say hi to everybody. Back and forth. Great. And then bring your elbows up and let your hands come down, and dangle your hands, and then move your lower arm in towards your body and out, stretching and relaxing and giving the ham or the triceps a bit of work. Good. Think of it as a challenge for your body and your nervous system if you can't do the move with one of your body parts, and remember to keep it small and in a micro move at first, eventually allowing that to translate into bigger waves of movement. Good. Now we're going to do a little bit more of a difficult twist. We're going to cross our left hand into the midline of your body. Take your left elbow onto the block in front of you, and then bring your right palm to join it together, taking your right elbow up towards the ceiling. This twist will take you deeper into your rib cage, and your objective is to take your view underneath your right elbow and up toward the ceiling. Breathe deep, inhaling as you want to initiate the move, and exhale using either the blow breath or just the to release and go deeper into the stretch. Good. On your next inhale, come back up to the middle, and then we'll change sides. This time taking your right elbow onto the block, making a palm or a fist with that hand, and then taking your left hand to join the right, bringing the left elbow up, making a triangle with your arms, and working toward taking your gaze between the space of your two elbows, up toward the ceiling. Inhale big, and exhale. Big breath, inhale and exhale. Great. Next, we're going to go into a forward fold over a bolster on your lap. And we'll inhale the arms up to your sides. Again, coming to cactus arms if taking them all the way up overhead isn't there for you. And then exhale, roll forward over the cylinder on your lap. Allowing that to release your lower back, making sure that the bolster is there to support you. You won't get the same stretch without a bolster there. Good. So, letting out a nice ha when you come out and coming back around to the front. So we've gone over the diaphragm, or sort of over the bolster at this point, and when you go over the bolster, what you may notice is that it's a little bit harder to breathe because you're squishing the bolster into the diaphragm. And I actually did that on purpose because we want to start working the diaphragm. Your diaphragm is your main breathing muscle, and it's responsible for 70% of your upper body stabilization as well. It's a huge factor in how our inner core of our torso in the body has to work, essentially. The arms and shoulders, as well as the spinal muscles, all attach in at the bottom of the rib cage at the lumbar plexus, which is where the diaphragm attaches to. So the more that we learn about the diaphragm and come into touch with it through breathing exercises, the more we learn about the core and also our spine. The more we'll be able to feel a bit more in control of our whole nervous system as well as the muscular system. So you can tell that the diaphragm is a big player and that you guys can all learn to work the diaphragm. It's the one muscle that crosses over the boundary of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. So it's not so in addition to it being the only muscle that isn't impeded by a spinal cord injury, which I find very fascinating, you haven't lost use of your diaphragm unless you're a very high level, and you may have lost some of the movement of your diaphragm, which they're actually bringing back now through little electrical stems. So suffice it to say, it's a huge muscle in your body, and you can learn how to control it, you can learn how to activate it, and you can start to use it to your advantage. So the way I trained myself to be able to use my core was by actually figuring out that when I took a big deep breath, my spasm would come in my diaphragm. So I started to tap into that a bit more and learn how to control that spasm through pranayama, which is the way that the yogis use yoga on the level of breath. So we talk about asanas, or the postures for the body. Well, pranayama is like doing postures with your breath. So this huge muscle can be basically trained, and the first thing we're going to use is Kabbalah Bhakti. So I'm a high level quad, and of course was very close to having to use a vent. So I did this at first, and I really didn't ever have to go back to being intubated. So you'll find that with the health of your diaphragm, you'll have better breathing, you'll have better digestion. You could probably get rid of bladder situations in this situation too. So you get your blood oxygenated, you get a whole bunch of benefits from really utilizing this breathing tool. So we're going to be pumping our diaphragm in Kabbalah Bhakti. Think of it as an inhale and an exhale, but rather focusing on the exhale. So bring your body forward and suck your elbows back towards your body rib cage. Draw your navel in. Lift your head and spread your heart. Good. And then you're going to basically inhale and exhale, forcing the exhale out like this. Can you feel that? Great. So take note. This is how you're going to be able to control your nervous system better. It's as simple as that. This is a heating breath versus a cooling or calming breath. Notice that you'll feel a little bit more uplifted, but you'll feel very stable and balanced. You don't want to do this breath too much before bed, but you can do it to clear the mind and, as I said, to engage the core. Okay, so we're going to now take those 2 breaths and do some simple sun salutations. I'm going to introduce the Ujjayi breath now, which is essentially a breath that takes the exhale and lengthens it out, stretches it out as much as you can. So we'll try it by first inhaling and exhale out your mouth. You should be able to feel that in the back of your throat as a slight constriction. Try again. Inhale. Good. Now if you can, close your mouth halfway through the exhale and see if you can keep that exhale and that sound going through the nose. Excellent. Then we're going to take that into sun salutations. Inhale, open the arms wide and bring them all the way up to cactus arms. Keep the shoulders soft and the heart lifted. Good. Lift the arms up again, and then on the exhale, bring your elbows back down to cactus arms. Good. Inhale and exhale. Let your elbows come out and bring your hands down. Keep the right hand on the pillow in front of you and take your left hand back. Twist toward your left shoulder. Let your heart come forward a little in the chair. Exhale, navel in, and twist a bit more. Use your arms to help you twist. Keep the chin tucked in so that you're not using your neck. Inhale and exhale, come back to center. Relax your hands down. Inhale the arms up, elbows in. Take the arms down in front of you, bringing your left hand onto the pillow and twist to the opposite side. Keep your heart lifted and the collarbones broad. Inhale big and imagine that breath stretching out your ribs. Good. Inhale up and exhale back to center. Bring both hands in front of you now, hands on your knees, and inhale, swoop under the water as if you're diving, and come up into your breath to inhale, and then exhale back, round your spine, navel into spine, back all the way to the back of your chair. Tuck your chin. Good. And then inhale up again, scooping like you're coming underwater, arching your spine, elbows in. Feel your core, and inhale as you come up. Good. Now exhale, navel back, round, tuck your chin down, back of your neck soft. Take your gaze all the way down to the back of your eyebrows and down into your navel. Good. Inhale back up again. Look up toward the third eye. And then exhale, round, navel tucks into the spine, chin tucks into the chest. And release your exhale, taking your gaze down. Good. We're going to inhale, palms on your lap, elbows into your waist, and then take as many Kabbalah Bhakti breaths as you can here. That's it. Good. Don't strain, and then when you are finished, exhale, tuck your chin, take your arms back to your side on the exhale, and relax your spine back towards your chair. Great. Relax and rest there for a moment and just notice. Good. The next part of the sun salutation, we're going to come all the way forward. And some of you may drop forward just due to the fact that the muscles haven't been developed enough yet in your core, and that's okay. That's why the bolster's there, to support you. Remember, if the bolster isn't there, you'll probably be straining your lower back muscles if you can't support yourself coming all the way down. So make sure you have something on your lap. Good. And then we're going to inhale, lean forward a little bit, and then bring your cactus arms up. And exhale, take your cactus arms straight out if you can, forward, and lower your whole body down over the bolster. Place your hands on your lap or onto your knees, and then all the way down to your shins. Your elbows are going to hug your waist on your inhale breath, and you're going to push yourself back up, navel in, and back up to sitting. So that's the sequence of the sun salutation. Good. Next we're going to inhale, bringing your right hand over to your left shoulder. Lift your elbow and point it towards the back of the room or the wall in front of you. Stretch the back of the arm, tuck the chin, and let the head fall in towards the space between the hand and the elbow. A little bit of a neck stretch here. Put the arm down and then switch sides. Swing it over to your right shoulder, give yourself a nice hug. Hold the elbow up and away, point it toward the ceiling or the opposite wall. Tuck your chin down and tip your ear in toward the right. Feel the stretch in your neck. Everybody gets to relax into center. Shrug your shoulders now, up, tuck your chin, and bring your shoulders down. Good. Now we're going to add downward dog into the sun salutations. First of all, you're going to take a chair into the front of you, and you may need other props like a table or a bench. You're going to be leaning out with your arms way in front of you as long as they'll go, creating as much length and space in the spine as possible. If you're using a chair, you could use a block on top of the chair to put your hands onto so that your arms are active and engaged. Imagine rotating your upper arm bones away from your shoulder bones and pressing down into your hands. You guys are awesome. Remember not to overdo it. Breathing will give you a good cue as to how far your body can go. Using your arms to lengthen your spine, you can extend through your fingers. Imagine it if it's not there for you. Good. And then on your next inhale, let your arms drop down to your knees. And then push yourself back up to sitting, hands on the chair or your knees, and back up to an upright spine. Great. Next, we're going to go back into some lateral work. So we'll put the chair or table on your right side. Lateral movement is really important, and it's a big area that gets often missed, especially with people who are sitting a lot. So I find myself super tight in my lateral flexion. Twisting is important, and it will help get at this area, but it doesn't actually replicate lateral bending. So with the chair beside you, tip it in towards you a little bit so you can lean on it, so your elbow can slide down the chair. And then on your inhale, you're going to bring your right or your left arm up overhead and bring it over the head and out towards the right side where the elbow is resting on the chair. You should be in a bit of a lateral twist by now. If you're not able to take that left arm up, you can still get lateral twist. Bring the hand onto the rib cage and take the elbow up. Good. Inhale. You could put a blow breath in here. On the exhale. Great. When you're ready, inhale, back up to center. We're going to stay with the chair on that side, and we're just going to do a little bit of a different lateral twist. This time your armpit's going to go into the back of the chair, so you'll be leaned over a little bit much, just like you're hanging over the edge of that chair. And then you're going to bring your arm across your body and try to grab the tricep of your opposite arm. So again, the left arm will come up and over. If it can't come over top of your head, bring it across the front of your body to grab that tricep. You'll notice a twist in your rib cage a little bit here. You'll also feel lateral bend in the upper rib cage. Good. On your next inhale, come back up to center, and then we're going to change sides, going to the opposite side with the chair. Good. So once the chair's on your opposite side, first position is taking the arm down the chair, letting the elbow plant itself about halfway down. And then inhale, bringing your right arm up and overhead, stretching as far as you can out through the right fingers toward the left side. You could also imagine spinning that left arm a little bit with the little baby finger rotating towards the floor to give a little bit more opening to your right shoulder. Big breath, inhale. Exhale. Excellent. And then inhale to come up. Pull the chair in a little bit. Take it right under your armpit. Let the arm stretch all the way down the chair now. When you're stable, inhale, raise the right arm up. Again, if you're not able to take it overhead, take the arm across the front of your body, grabbing your left tricep with your right hand, squeezing it and stretching through the front line in this lateral position. Big breath in. Excellent. And then on your next inhale, come back up to center. Great. That's just about going to wrap up the first part of our chair yoga series. We're going to be breaking now and going towards the floor eventually. So why don't you all take a moment and center yourself in your chair before we close for a little break. Close your eyes and just affirm to your body, my body's safe, my body breathes, and my body's comfortable. And with your eyes still closed, feeling the breath in your belly, and just tracking for the next few minutes the breath moving in and out from your belly. And then softening the inside of your jaw, softening the eyes back into the eye sockets, allowing the expression to drop from your face. The forehead to spread back toward the hairline. And repeating to yourself, I am at peace in this moment. Still feeling the breath in your belly, and then remembering where you are in the room, and then gently opening your eyes and coming back into the room. And we will have a short break before coming back to do the seated poses. Namaste.